backdrop.
Recording. 3, 2, 1. Right, let's go.
Hello, Joe. And
Hello,
welcome
Lucy.
back. Hello, welcome back to the Baby Show live at home. I know you joined us yesterday. Thank you for that amazing demo.
Thank you. I really was looking forward to going to Birmingham and doing the actual show. Like, I heard it's a really big event, so I'm glad that we're doing something, but I really hope that I'm invited back next year to do a live, demo and get to meet some people.
I know, there's nothing quite like it. I mean, we're doing our best trying to bring this to everybody virtually, but there's nothing quite like actually being there and meeting all the mums and seeing all the babies. It's such a lovely buzz at the Baby Show. It's my favourite. I've done it for 17 years and I love it. So
wow, it's been going that long, is it?
Yes, even longer. It's probably been going about 19 years. So
how many kids do you have?
I've got 2.
Oh, 2.
2 kids. Do you know what? They're not babies anymore though, Joe. They're all growing up. 14 and 10.
Wow, they're grown up. Yeah, so I've got a 20 months and 4 months. So I'm a busy man, busy dad.
Yeah, I know you are. So what I'd really like to chat about to you, Joe, because I expect there's a lot of dads watching as well. I just want you to talk me through, those early days, becoming a dad, because obviously life changes so much. How did you find those early days with a new baby?
Well, when I look back, I realised how quick those months go. Those first few weeks when you're having cuddles and they fall asleep on you all the time, and then they're in your room, then suddenly they're in their own cot, and it kind of the transition's so quick. And I really miss those days. They're really fond memories. The biggest challenge, I think, and every parent will probably agree, is just the broken sleep. Right? It's the biggest challenge. But for me, I always found that exercise was kind of a good foundation for me to keep energized and keep focused. So although I found it difficult to do it at certain times, I'd still make sure exercise was a part of my day. But I love being a dad, and even with 2 now, there's double the mess, double the crying, double the nappies, but I always say it's double the fun, and double the love, because I see them interacting, I see them growing, and they're becoming little personalities now, and they're really half of Rosie and half of me. And I love seeing Indy learn. I love reading to her. I love doing bath time. I'm obviously lucky that I can be at home quite a lot, and I think a lot of dads now that are at home probably realise how wonderful it is to be present and be a part of things, and maybe cook breakfast and enjoy a bowl of porridge together. So it's been eye-opening this time, but I really just think hopefully it's brought people closer together and make us realise how important time is. Nothing's more precious than time with our young kids.
Absolutely. I think that's one blessing about lockdown. If you've got young children, you're not missing anything. You are there as a lovely unit. Going back to when Rosie was pregnant, any tips on how you can bond? Because obviously the mother is there growing this beautiful baby, and it's kind of hard for dad to connect. Was there anything you did before little Indy came along and Marley?
Well, I used to sing to her tummy, and I used to try and play the guitar because I'm learning the acoustic guitar. I said, I want to learn the guitar, so when my baby's like a little bit older, I can play a few little nursery rhymes and songs. But yeah, I mean, you don't have the physical connection, but talking to it, coming up with a name and trying to we didn't have a name straight away for Indy, but just trying to kind of bring it to life. And then obviously I went to all the hospital scans, and that was kind of a fun part of it, and seeing the heartbeat and things. But I think I really bonded with Indy probably not straight away. It took a couple of months because obviously she was breastfed at first. But then when we started to introduce the bottle and we could have a bit of formula and a bit of breast milk, then I felt like I was starting to bond with her. And even more so now that Marley's come along, I feel like me and Indy, we're like 2 peas in a pod now. She's really clinged on and latched onto me, which I love because she wants to cuddle me and watch TV and go out playing with me and stuff.
You can see, Joe, you can see that lovely closeness. You really can.
I think she sees me as a bit of fun. We go out on the scooters and we go for bike rides and things. But yeah, I definitely found it hard because Marley came along 3 weeks early, and he was premature, and he also couldn't see anything. So we didn't realise this, but he was pretty much blind. He couldn't see a single thing until he was about 3 months old. So he had reflux, he had colic, he was really upset. He didn't want to be left on his own. So I found it quite hard to bond with him. But now one day, it's called delayed visual maturity. One day he could start to see, and now he's kind of really calm and he's settled down. And because he can see you, you can put him down and just play around and leave him. But yeah, it's definitely harder to bond with him in the first few months.
Yeah, it is. Have you got any tips on, so, it is hard. The mother is overwhelmed, she's just given birth and she's trying to establish the feeding. Have you got any tips for the dads, how they can really help the mum at that time? Because it can be difficult, can't it?
I think it's teamwork, isn't it? I think doing what you can, and the smallest of things, even if you can, you know, have breakfast ready when your wife or missus comes down, you know, or you know, just little basic things that just to get a little head start, because obviously it's hard enough. And I really respect, and the more I see Rosie, Indy and Marley, the more I realize how, for me, like going and doing a workout and DMs and emails all day, that's work. But I find the parenting side of it more draining, more physically and emotionally tough, because you've got to be patient, tolerant, you've got to be stimulating them. So I've got a newfound respect when I see Rosie with 2 babies under 2. Like, so I'm trying my best to kind of come down and do lunch, you know, and do dinner time, do a bit of cooking, and trying to just split that time. So if Rosie wants to exercise, I'll take the kids for a walk. If Rosie wants to have a nap, you know, I'll take the kids in the garden for an hour. So it's really about teamwork and understanding that it isn't easy. It might look like it is, but try doing it yourself for a couple of days. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And it's not going to be like this forever. The children change, that gets easier, then something else happens. I don't know if you found that with Indy, you crack one thing and then there's something else you've got to sort out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, her eating, obviously, with the weaning, we're really confident with, and she's been great. But then sleeping, like, she was great, and now she's having a bit of a rough time because she's waking up much earlier and she's getting a bit, well, I think she might be having nightmares and dreams that she's, you know, wanting new in the night. So it is always changing. There's never a perfect day. It always changes. And I think it's about what I've learned. I read this really great book called Calm Parents, Happy Kids, The Secrets to Stress-Free Parenting. And it really opened my eyes to kind of being more empathetic and being understanding that a child, a little baby, they don't have a rational brain. So I'm learning to be more patient and tolerant, and I'm learning to react differently, because if I can demonstrate good emotional control and not shout and scream and get worked up, that's teaching Indy. So I'm learning little things like that, because I grew up in a really chaotic home life. Like, my mum and dad would shout at me and it was a lot of swearing and doors getting slammed, and I don't want to be that kind of parent. So I'm actively changing my default setting through like reading and trying new things. Yeah. It is, you're learning, aren't you? As a parent, you're learning, and no, you know, there are days you're going to shout and lose your rag, but if you can try and show good emotional control, I think then you have a really good chance of communicating with kids.
Sure. Is there anything you wish you'd known, or somebody had told you before you became a dad that you didn't know, that really shocked you?
I think how hard screaming babies in your head are. Like that, for me, I don't think there's anything more challenging than like being in a car or a plane or even in the kitchen when you're trying to make breakfast and just having a screaming baby who's just screaming and shouting relentlessly, because you can't communicate with them. So it is hard. You've got to really take a deep breath, and it's almost like meditation. When it's kicking off in the kitchen and Marley and Indy are crying, rather than, you know, the fight or flight, which is like scream and shout or just run out of the room and leave it to Rosie, you have to have that moment of pause where you breathe. And I think I wasn't prepared for how mentally challenging 2 screaming babies was going to be. It's really challenging.
Do you find that there's a lot of support for dads? Because us girls, you know, we've got our groups, we've got our girly mates, we can call them up. How does that work for dads? Do you think there's enough out there supporting you guys as well?
Well, I've got a thread as well. We're called the Gusto Gang. So we're all dads and we're all in Gusto, and we're called the Daddy Gusto Gang. So we talk about the recipes we're cooking, and we also talk about, you know, the babies. And sometimes we laugh. Sometimes we're all saying, how many hours sleep did you get last night? So it's just a bit of support. Yeah, but I don't know. I think communication really also comes between you and your partner. So as long as you're talking and you're taking turns with certain things, like certain roles you're going to slip into naturally. Like Rosie obviously was mainly breastfeeding Indy, but then when I could do the bottle, I'd do the night, maybe like the bedtime feed and the bottle and bath. So different kind of routines. It's just having a mutual respect for each other and never take the other person for granted, because, you know, whether it's cleaning the dishes, keeping the house tidy and getting the babies ready to go out for the day and taking them out for a few hours, like that is all work. It's not easy, is it? And that's something that I've learned over time. That Rosie doesn't have a day off when she takes Indy and Marley out for the day. Like, it's intense. We've just been for a walk to Virginia Water, loading them up, getting in the car, getting them out of the car, going for a walk. It's work. I'm tired.
It's a mission.
I'm knackered.
Yeah, it is. It's a mission, isn't it? But I think, did you? Sorry, Joe, there's a bit of a delay. Did you find that transition going from 1 to 2 quite tricky?
I think it was harder because Marley was literally, he did not want to be put down. You know, Indy, when you've got one baby and she cries, one of you's picking them up and you cuddle them, you nurture them, and there's not much tears, is it? Because it's like you just pick them up and you're there. When there's 2 and you've got Indy running around with a pooey nappy on, and then Marley's upset and crying because he doesn't want to be put down, there's that longer duration of crying and screaming. So I wasn't prepared for that. But like I said, we didn't know, he couldn't see anything, so he hated being alone.
Oh.
You put him down for 10 seconds and walked away. He was like, just really upset. So I found it really tough the first 2 months. And then obviously as he started to see, he settled down and now he knows the world a little bit more. But it's just about being patient, isn't it? And being understanding as you can.
And getting to know your baby as well. It's all very well if your mate's doing one thing, but it's what works for you and your partner, isn't it?
Well, people ask, don't you, like, how does Indy sleep on her own? How is she using a spoon? How is Marley doing at night? And sometimes you don't know the answers, and you don't even know if it's worth sharing the answers, because every kid's different. And, you know, Marley the other night slept all the way through the night without any milk. And we were like, wow, amazing. Last night he had 2 bottles of milk in the night. So nothing's ever the same, and you just have to roll with it. You have to just go with what's going on and try not to kind of be in that race of like, well, my kid should be speaking as much as that, and my kid should be eating as much as that. It's like, your baby's got his own appetite, and your baby's got their own brain, and they're learning and they're developing. We all end up eating, we all end up speaking, so don't rush it.
Sure, it's about not being too tough on yourself. So I know that you've been the nation's PE teacher. You've been really busy in this lockdown, but have you got any more tips on how, you know, people out there can get through this lockdown with little ones? Obviously, getting out and about and getting some exercise is helping.
I think family fitness is an amazing way of like bringing your family together through exercise and having fun and interacting, whether it's a little workout with mine or going for a bike ride together. I think it's really important to role model to your kids exercise and fitness. But yeah, you know, getting out of the house as well. As I said, we've been going for like a daily walk, which is lovely. The biggest thing I learned from being a dad to 2 kids was when it was just 1, and Indy was a good sleeper, so she slept through, we'd get a good night's sleep. When you've got 2 and you're trying to wake up with that same motivation and zest to like train, it isn't there. Like you're probably like running at 50, 60% of what you normally are, but it still means you should do something. Even if you're really, you know, really worn out, doing a little bit of exercise will lift your energy. So try not to sacrifice your health and your mental health because you feel like, you know, you should be doing this, or you shouldn't be exercising, or you feel bad for having some time away from the baby. Like, it's so important for your personal mental health. And for me, when I exercise and I come back in the room, I'm a better dad. I'm more patient. I'm more tolerant. I'm kinder, and I'm just nicer to be around. So I think for any parent, however your baby sleeps, don't sacrifice your fitness and your mental health. So try and fit something into your day, even 20 minutes a day.
Yeah, it's really good advice. And your very newest baby has to be your amazing book, Wean in 15. Tell us about that.
I've got a little copy here. So I'm so proud of this book, because when I had the idea for it, obviously my first books are called Lean in 15. And then I said, one day when I have a baby, we should do a book, call it Wean in 15. And I went on a journey with, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. I was very, you know, nervous. I wasn't very confident. I partnered up with this wonderful nutritionist called Charlotte Sterling Reed, who is SR Nutrition.
Yeah, she's fab, isn't she? She's fab, Charlotte. We've had her a few times at the baby show. She's
brilliant. She's so passionate. And the mission of the book, you know, is about getting families and parents confident in the kitchen, confident with the weaning journey, and getting them off to the right start. But my publisher said, Joe, no one's going to pre-order this book. People don't pre-order weaning books, right? And I said, I don't believe that. I'm going to prove you wrong. This has been my second highest pre-order book ever. I've done 8 books. So the appetite for this book, and I think it comes from the fact that I've been so engaged on my Instagram page. I've been giving out so much free content, and everything that's been going on with Wean in 15 and PE with Joe. I think people just really wanted to support the book, and I've been so blown away. So thank you to anyone that has got the book, and I hope you're enjoying the recipes.
Yeah, I found actually with my children, it was one of my favourite bits, the weaning bit. Didn't like the potty training, didn't like that bit. No, but the weaning bit, I wasn't that fussed about cooking. My poor husband, whatever. Became a mum, and I was really passionate about what I was going to feed my baby. So I think that's why your book's great, because those recipes, babies like interesting foods. They like taste, don't they? They don't want bland food. So this is why your recipes are so great. Give us a bit of an idea of what we can see in your book.
So the book's really it's loads of up-to-date advice. There's 100 recipes starting from 6 months plus. So we talk about you know, purees, little stews, risottos. Then you get into more like grown-up kind of pasta dishes. There's like little curries and things. And there's so much. It's not just for like babies that are weaning. I think there's a misconception. It's really good for small families as well. There's like little cocktails and mini veggie burgers. There's some really lovely recipes. But I talk about, knowing when your baby's ready. So signs of readiness, the transition from solids to milks, creating a calm environment, which I think is so important. So setting a nice, relaxed environment and routine, The most important one of all, I think, is role modeling, which basically means, you know, sitting down together as a family or enjoying food together. So your baby learns from what they see. So that's a really important aspect.
Yeah.
Then we got like choking and gagging, traveling abroad with a baby. There's lots of really useful tips. I think this is the Bible for the next 20 years. You know, obviously there's been baby books that have been around for years. I think this is the modern one now. I think it's one that people are going to lean on because it's so up to date. It's so current. And I'm really honest about the journey with Rosie's breastfeeding, with Indy's allergies. Like, there's nothing in here that isn't true, and none of it is judgmental. It's like just trying to give you as much advice and confidence as I can, really.
That's amazing. Is there any of your recipes that are Indy's favourite?
Well, she's obsessed.
I know
with
a minute ago she had the broccoli. She had the little broccoli.
Broccoli tots,
things.
yeah. She's obsessed.
Broccoli tots, yeah.
Anything like oaty, so she loves the overnight oats. She loves protein pancakes. Not protein pancakes. She likes these. She's not on protein shakes yet. She's too little for that. She's having a little oaty blueberry pancake. But yeah, basically her palate is. I got her on spices and herbs right away. So from 7 months.
Yeah. Can you do that from 7 months then, Joe? Herbs and spices, all right from then.
Yeah, you know, why would you want to give your baby like boiled spinach and broccoli? How boring is that? Like, fry it in some butter, you know, add some paprika or some cumin or some, you know, yeah, I was using like, not chili, I was using smoked paprika, like mild curry powder, cinnamon, all these things make vegetables taste amazing. So you're really going to get your baby off to a good start. I think there's that thing that you should just keep it all pure and, you know, unseasoned, but, you know, no salt, but a little bit of fresh herb,
right.
Coriander. It's amazing. It makes food taste good. So getting them onto that early means they're going to be eating adult food really fast. So you can enjoy a little risotto together or a little like mild veggie curry. Like, these are lovely meals that Indy's got used to eating from such a young age.
Sure. So I know some mums, they start off really well, then the babies can get really fussy. Has Indy gone through that stage where she's brilliant, she's eating everything, and then they push it away and like don't like it? Has she done that with you?
She's definitely tried to refuse foods, but this is the thing, like, we don't offer alternatives. So if she pushes something away and then she knows that if she cracks and screams and throws it on the floor and I pull out a bowl of, you know, Weetabix or peanut butter on toast or fruit straws or whatever, you know, vegetable sticks, she's clever. She'll know. So I don't offer alternatives. This is your dinner. I'm the chef. I know what's right for you. I'm going to give you some healthy food. If you don't want that, let's go and play in the park. Let's go for a walk. Let's come back. And 9 times out of 10, the food I give her, she eats. So there are times like, if I've offered her multiple times like avocado, she does not like the texture and taste of avocado. So certain things, you know, but I think it's consistency. Like, if you crack, if you say, I can't handle it, I just want to give him something, just give him the chicken nuggets and chips and beans and, you know, it's just what I know he's going to eat, then the babies become fussy, but it's because you've limited their options. You've basically said they're in control and you give them what they want. So you have to be, as hard as it sounds, you have to be firm and stand your ground and know that you're letting your baby develop habits right now that could last their lifetime. So get them on veg and fruit and healthy food as early as possible. It's really important.
Sure, because I think we do worry about when is it okay to introduce certain foods. People worry about allergies, but that's all there in the book.
We talk about allergies, yeah, when to introduce certain foods, and obviously the best practices for doing that. One of the things, the misconceptions that people have is that, you know, you should just keep feeding your baby whatever, you know, as long as you feed them something, it's better than nothing. But I believe that if your baby isn't hungry in that moment in time, it doesn't mean you've got to give them, you know, some crisp or some fruit or some chocolate or whatever. It's just keep them hungry, keep them full up. Because I believe in letting your baby work up an appetite, you know, and letting them be a bit more active, go away, play for a little bit, and then when they come back to sit and eat the meal, they're going to eat that little vegetable curry or that risotto or that pasta, you know, because they want food. They need to survive. You know, babies, we need to eat to survive. So I think it's very easy to get into a habit of offering alternatives and limiting and narrowing the food choices down. So then you go, my baby's a fussy eater, but you've still been doing the food shopping, you've still been cooking, and you're the chef. So you have to really stay consistent. It's hard because you don't want to see your baby having a tantrum. You don't want to see them upset, but you have to let them work up an appetite and keep trying different combinations of foods. And if your baby doesn't like, you know, spinach and broccoli, and you think that's it, they won't ever eat it, but I chop it into tiny little bits, put it into an omelette, and Indy eats it. So it's about using it in different ways, not just saying
you need to hide it. Yeah,
it's not hiding it. It's just incorporating it, like incorporating into like little muffins and little oats and stuff. Like there's ways of doing it without like hiding it and keeping it all like a mysterious thing. But you don't have to give your baby like steamed veg for them to be healthy. It can be cooked into food or fried or, you know, baked in the oven.
Yeah, and they do like it does help if it looks quite nice on the plate, I found. Then, you know, if you can make it, like you said, into little muffins and things like that, they do enjoy that, don't they? They can pick things up and it just makes it more enjoyable for them. So, Joe, where can everybody be buying your book right now?
So, well, unfortunately, bad news, it's sold out on Amazon, so you can't actually get a hold of it. But yes, they didn't print enough. I told my publisher, you haven't printed enough copies. I just know it's going to sell more than that, but they weren't too sure, you know. So basically, it's sold out currently, but you can still order it, and they'll have more stock next week. So it's on Amazon, Waterstones, you know, and all the supermarkets and bookshops, obviously, like W. H. Smith and Waterstones online and stuff. So yeah, it's still available.
Amazing.
They're in the market, but I think Amazon's struggling with the copies because they've sent too many out too quick.
Well, that's a good thing. That's a good problem to have, Joe. Well, I've loved chatting to you. I'm going to let you get back to your family right now. But please come and see us at a baby show when we can really do our events again. It'll be lovely to have you along. We'll get you on the stage. We'll get you cooking your recipes, meeting the mums, meeting the babies. That would be amazing.
Well, I've got a new book. So this is my Wean 15, and then in a year or so, we're doing another, like a young family book. So sort of toddlers and up. So there'll be plenty of time to come back to the baby show, I'm sure.
That would be brilliant. I can't wait to see them, Joe.
I'm having 5 kids, so I've got 2. I'm having 3 more, so I'll have a baby, yeah, for sure.
Does Rosie know this?
Yeah, she's up for it. She wants it.
Brilliant. I love it. Well, thank you. Look after your family. Look forward to seeing you really soon. Lots of love from us all, Joe. Thanks, you.
Everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Right, so